Live with it, one time with it.
Yo, what's happening? Back in the building.
Yes, indeed. Back at it. What's good? What's good with you, boss?
Cooling, brother, man. Cooling, man. We got a treat for these people tonight, man.
Oh,
Excited
yeah.
about this live.
Oh, yeah.
You know, hip-hop culture is important to both of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm one of the old heads, as the youngest say, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But we got a vet in the building, OG in the gang. But yeah, man, you want to talk to the people how we came up, how you came up with this idea.
Well, Zane, I've been noticing, K-Rino on this with the content, man. That's I've been knowing for forever almost, it seemed like, and seen him over there doing his content on YouTube and whatnot and things, and I'm like, man, this brother doing live streams, uploads, staying consistent with the content. So I'm like, let me reach out. I reached out, and he did so solid, man. I definitely much appreciation to him. We're gonna play one track, and then we're gonna pull him up on the stage. We're gonna get right to it, man.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I got it down here in the audio, so I'm gonna put the thumbnail up. Y'all get ready, man. We got a show for y'all, man. We gonna get to know Mr. K-Rino, man. Don't go nowhere. Y'all feel me? Here's one of his jams, man. This right here is called "Betting on Me." Shit, I would too.
If you want something done right, then you better do it yourself, brother. Tryna wait on another to cover your ass, you gon' be a stuck motherfucker. Had to learn from my own bad moves, not a fake folks, it's easy to spot one. A lot of days I depended on people who told me that they would do something, but it never got done. But in the end, I can't let you keep me from winning, so I'ma present it and couldn't care less if you offended. No sympathy for your feelings, the second hour, a minute, cause I'ma be finished. It's my business, this was represented. Everything I built, they funneled it out from me, cause I was taking a chance, they was playing with house money. In the end, I'ma be the reason I make it or not. I ain't passing the rock, win or lose, I'm taking a shot. Say, when it comes to getting your crown, anybody slowing you down, you gotta let them go free. Go free. I gotta set the tone, G, cause whatever gon' be, I'm betting on me. I had to learn to be ready for every situation I was ever gon' see. If you want it, go get it then. People stick you out in the end, so I'm betting on me. Betting on me, fastest way to success. Winning, losing, hard to digest. Don't need nobody giving me permission. I live and die by my own decisions. Cut off the bad habits that hurt me, and the relationships that don't deserve me. Content with living life on my own terms, giving the same respect in return. Waiting on somebody else to decide. Your ass will be waiting on the sidelines. If I fail, I'ma fail trying to make shit happen. Give myself a chance to win, not just rapping. When it comes to getting your crown, anybody slowing you down, you gotta let them go free. Go free. I gotta set the tone, G, cause whatever gon' be, I'm betting on me. I had to learn to be ready for every situation I was ever gon' see. If you want it, go get it then. People stick you out in the end, so I'm betting on me. Label me an underdog, but I'm an underground hog, here to get it all. Send your hardest killers at me, minute fall. This is playtime, player, this ain't war at all. I brawl it all, y'all to the city fall. Frank needy balls with the heart of a lion. Your soul leaving your body, exit the party, you down. Why would you mess with the Klondike cat? Surely the odds against you when you dumb like that. I BETONME, you gon' have to DIEHARD. Bet it, motherfucker, and ain't nobody holding us down. Submerge underground while we holding these grounds. Bet it. When it comes to getting your crown, anybody slowing you down, you gotta let them go free. Go free. I gotta set the tone, G, cause whatever gon' be, I'm betting on me. I had to learn to be ready for every situation I was ever gon' see. If you want it, go get it then. People stick you out in the end, so I'm betting on me. Music industry ain't messing over me, cause I'm betting on me, baby. I'm a hands open, you ain't stepping on me. Cause I'm betting on me, baby. I don't need you to book me no shows or find me no hoes, cause I'm betting on me, baby. I'ma get it myself, money, cars, and clothes, cause I'm betting on me, baby. I'm in full throttle, don't tell me when to stop. When I get to the top, bottle gon' pop. Keep my name identical when I'm on the instrumental. Sway your chin up like Jay Leno, I'm a dog in a kennel. You be swimming with the minnow. I don't need you to plan my hotel accommodations or give me a rental. I'm with my brothers who I've been knowing for years, and I trust the SPC, and I'm keeping my life simple. I ain't trusting the oppressor when it come to money. I read my contract with my lawyer, man, I ain't a dummy. Sign my name on the dotted line, they wanna run me, but I gotta move around cause I'm not a mummy. I'ma take it there. Life ain't fair unless you in the back of a cab. You gotta pay the fare, so I don't really care. This ain't truth or dare. Got plans to be a billionaire, not a millionaire.
When it comes to getting your crown, anybody slowing you down, you gotta let them go free. I gotta set the tone, G, cause whatever gon' be, I'm betting on me. I had to learn to be ready for every situation I was ever gon' see. If you want it, go get it then. People stick you out in the end, so I'm betting on me.
Cause I'm betting on me, baby. Cause I'm betting on me, baby. Cause I'm betting on me, baby. Cause I'm betting on me, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and bring brother up here up on the stage. Introducing Mr. K-Rino. What is good with you?
Man, I'm blessed, my brother. I appreciate you, brother YJ and brother Boss, for having me on your platform, man. I'm honored, and I appreciate y'all brothers, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so you on mute, boss.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely appreciate you for taking the time to come out here and chill with us, man, and chat with us, man. Let the people get to know you, man, because we some hip hop heads on.
Yeah.
We like to give people their flowers, man, who put in a lot of work. Because I went to your page and was like, Jesus Christ, you got a lot of music on here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, your big brother. I've been doing it for a long time, man. And just been blessed to remain consistent and blessed to keep coming up with some ideas that the people seem to like. So I'm honored, man.
Yeah. So I guess, boss, you want to, I guess, kind of kick it off. I guess, just kind of when it comes to your early to a start and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, first of all, there's life before music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of young cats don't understand that, especially when they're coming up in the game. A lot of them just feel like they don't have to work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
First, let me ask you: are you married?
No, sir.
No man. Okay. That makes sense with all the work you have, because a lot of women won't be able to put up with that shit, bro.
Oh, it wouldn't have stopped me if I was. It's like I'm married to this music. I've been married to this music for 40 years. And we've had an up and down relationship, up and down marriage. So, but no matter what, it's like a marriage, because no matter what, how bad it gets, we always come back to each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any kids?
Not biological.
Okay. All right. So, I guess I want to ask you this then. What advice would you give any up and coming artists who want to take the route of the music industry? What would you tell them, man?
That your talent is already in you, so focus on learning the business if you want to get into that side of it. If you want to be in the business, in the industry side of it, learn about publishing and learn about the business first. Learn how to do everything yourself. A lot of times, even big name artists who have signed to major labels, some we know and love, been around for decades, they never really learned the ins and outs of how the business works and how to take care of themselves. So if a day ever comes when they get dropped from the label or the label folds or whatever happens, a lot of them are wandering in the wilderness because they don't even know how to survive and how to record and distribute their own music and run a company, run an independent record company. So the business side would be the thing that I would emphasize to a lot of artists coming up, because we got the talent, it's in us. So
Right.
that take care of itself. But whatever you do on the front end will directly affect what happens to you on the back end, whether it's good or bad. So if you got bad business on the front end, you ain't gonna have no money on the back end. So learn that part, and then you'll be all right.
Man,
Hey, you speaking the truth.
boss know why I'm laughing. But yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true, man. I guess when it comes to like when you just said just now about the business and whatnot, I guess walk through, I guess, kind of what was going on when it, because we went from tapes to CDs, from CDs to MP3s to MP3s to streams. So like from that little gray area from the MP3 iPods to going into now the streaming, I guess what challenges I guess you had with that, or whether any challenges you had with that, because I see sometimes, and I'll be mad when I see it. I see one of your songs and it be on someone else's channel, and it'll have 150,000 views, and then I go to your channel and I'll be like, man, come on, man. So,
Well, that's because I came to the party late. I got, just like you said, that was a gray area, as things were transitioning. So me having been in this game so long, I go all the way back to vinyl and cassettes. That was all it was. The first record I ever released, we released it strictly on vinyl, and then we came out with cassettes, and then we came out with CDs. So when we went from more predominantly physical age to the digital age,
right,
I still got, I won't even say 1 foot in the physical side. I had like 98% of my body still in the physical side, while
right,
transformation was taking place. So it took me a while. So when YouTube, like you said, you see a lot of these YouTube channels popping up. I used to actually get people to upload my songs on YouTube for me, because I don't know when YouTube started to monetize and all that, but I
right,
wasn't
right,
aware of any of that. So I was like, yeah, man, I got a new album. Yeah, go and put it on YouTube for me. So the early stuff that I would get people to put on YouTube for me, that got all the views. So
right,
by the time I learned the game, I was like, okay, myself on them. Now, I'm picking up the crumbs, but at the end of the day, you still want to have. I still own full possession of all my stuff, But in anything I drop from that point on, when my knowledge kicked in to now into the future, it's all on me. But in terms of streams and the digital downloads and all that, yeah, it was a slow process, because anytime that you have been doing something one way, music or otherwise, and then all of a sudden a transition starts to take place where that formula starts to change, if you've been successful in the old way, you kind of rebellious and kind of, oh man, I don't need that new stuff. I don't need that. I can keep doing it like I'm doing, but the way you're doing it is slowly phasing itself out, or the industry is phasing it out. So you got to get with the times or get left behind.
Right,
and,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking like an OG, as you should. My next question is, who influenced you to do music? Like, what was your motivation to start doing music?
Yeah, man, I grew up in one of them households, man. I grew up where mama was playing Stevie Wonder and the OJs and Jackson 5 and all that. So, you listen to all these songs growing up, and to me, that's just the greatest era of music ever in my eyes, old school R&B. And this is pre-rap. This is long before I was even thinking about rapping, or long before I even heard a rap song. So by the time Sugar Hill Gang dropped Rapper's Delight and Curtis Blow was dropping These Are the Breaks and all that, and that was something new. But I was already immersed in music just from my upbringing and listening to the great R&B singers that I came up listening to, Stevie Wonder, Mike, Prince. That's the type of stuff that influenced me. Now when rap kicked in, now you got Run DMC, you got LL Cool J, KRS-One, Tila Rock. Now the game changes because now the focus shifts over to this new genre that's
Right.
more in my age demographic. And I'm like, oh yeah, we listening to that. But I listened to rap 4 years before I even tried to do it. So I was just a
Right.
fan during that stretch.
And
Right.
what's the album back to I forgot the I looked up
Rock,
your you said what?
was it one of my albums or Tila Rock?
No, it was I think it was listed on this site as your first solo project back to
Oh, the Stories from the Black Book.
stories from the
Yeah,
Black Book.
yeah.
Yeah.
That came out in '93. I had released a couple of projects before then,
Okay.
with a couple of groups that I was in. But yeah,
Right.
Stories from the Black Book was my first solo record that I dropped on my own label. Me and my dad had our own label called Electric City Records, and yeah, that was my first time stepping out just me.
Right. Right. And I listened to it, and you produced that whole album.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I was coming up at a time. There was it was two dynamics. It was me, just like I said, being a fan of Prince and Stevie Wonder, all
Hmm.
these musical geniuses who would write, produce, compose, arrange the whole album. They would do it all. So I
Right.
always wanted to have that on my resume. Like if you buy a Prince album, on the back of every album he dropped, it's gonna say written, produced, composed, and arranged by Prince. So
Right.
dropped my first album. I wasn't even a good producer. I couldn't produce. I didn't know how to do tracks, but I wanted to do it anyway. And that was one of the biggest early criticisms of me, man, this beats is whack, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I
Right.
had written, produced, and composed by me. And I was able
Right.
to do that. So like my
Right.
first 2 or 3 albums, I produced all myself.
Yeah, and actually the production when I listened to other production from that time period, it wasn't far off, brother. I'm gonna tell you now, because it 92, 93, you had the 808. It was definitely banging. It was definitely banging on my subwoofer. The arrangement was a little, but hey,
The
boy was
samples,
spitting. Yeah,
yeah.
samples. It was a sample, hi hat, snare, and some bass. That
Hey, but check it out. Check this out though. This the funny part because, like
yeah,
I say, people always be on my head about my beats back in the day. Like, oh man, this beat suck. This beat suck. And that album is still my highest selling album out of anything I ever dropped to this
man,
day. So they can say what they want to say.
right,
Beats, that album still did better than the 2 albums that I exclusively produced myself sold more than anything I did after that. So I don't know if
damn,
it's product of the times or what, but
yeah,
hey, they can say what they want to say, man.
yeah,
It wasn't mastered or none of that. We just put it
yeah.
out.
So Jizzle actually struck something that I actually wrote down for as a question for you. And I listened to song, was it the Burden Road?
Yeah.
Okay. That song was deep, bro. And it just took me to one of my favorite aspects of hip hop, which is storytelling.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, man, where was your mind frame? What was your mental state when you wrote that song, man? Because I know the people might not have heard it. Some of them may have. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that song was deep, bro, and you was teaching in that song. And I gotta ask, what was your mental state and what was your purpose of doing this song?
Man, you know what's so crazy? Every so often, people will bring that song up. They'll mention that song, and it always catches me by surprise when people mention that song because, I feel like it is one of the more underrated songs in my catalog. But I try to make tracks like that from time to time that are telling a story, but also or something to make people kind of think and consider that does infuse some type of principle or some type of lesson in the midst of it. So yeah, that was one of those ones. But I'm also a big fan of Twilight Zone. I love watching the old school Twilight Zone TV show from the '60s, and Rod Serling would always create these weird concepts like that would have some kind of
Right.
lesson in it or some kind of twist that doesn't always turn out in favor of the main character of the story. So
Right.
I write like that from
And
time
you
to time.
and I tell you, you're a fool for that, because fool in a good way.
Oh, I get
Uh,
it. Yeah.
Because with them sorcerer sons and all that, man, with the
Yeah.
L Dub, I think that may be one of my favorite ones is the L Dub, uh, Magnificent or something like that.
Yeah.
It's called, but man, that goes kind of to the when it comes to those concepts. You spoke about those concepts. Um, I guess you know were there ever moments where you kind of doubted that process? Because it's definitely it's a reoccurring theme in your music, the storytelling and these life lessons, and you don't hear this stuff on the radio. You're not, well, you will hear it time and time. It used to kind of, I think, be a little bit more commercially viable to with the Tribe Called Quest and stuff like that. But were there ever moments that you doubted that process of having concepts, having topics, talking about a message? Was there ever a time point where you kind of doubted that process?
No, I never doubted that because I realized years and years and years back that storytelling had become or was becoming a lost part of rap. So I looked at it like an opportunity to keep filling a void or to stay in a lane that not many people was driving in. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep dropping these stories because nobody is doing it. And
Right.
and not literally nobody, still a handful of rappers, but people are not telling stories like they used to in the rap. So
Nah.
I used it as an opportunity to try to etch myself into the top 10 in
Right.
terms of storytelling rappers. I grew
Right.
up listening to the Slick Ricks and guys like that, and hearing people like Scarface and Ice Cube and guys who really were great storytellers in rap. And so I'm bred on that. I'm raised on that. And I'm not
Right.
gonna ever stop. I just took it to a different kind of level because I wanted to be extreme in terms of the concepts of the stories and not just a basic story, which I'll tell sometime. But
Right.
now I saw it as an opportunity because I try to put at least two per album,
On it. Yeah.
two stories per album, and to keep that going. And it validates my thought process when people like y'all ask me about the story. So it's like, okay, yeah, I need to keep doing it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody's
We
really
hip
doing
hop
it.
heads, man. We hip hop heads. We listening.
Oh
We
yeah.
love music. Now, I ain't gonna say this is putting you on a hot seat, but I gotta ask. You was born in Texas, right?
Yeah.
You gotta exclude yourself from this question. Who is the greatest rapper that ever came from the state of Texas?
Yeah.
In your
Scarface.
opinion?
Scarface. Yeah.
Okay.
That's easy. Yeah, yeah. Face is the guy who gave all of us a stamp, because when he branched out to the whole world and he was embraced, he was the first rapper from our region to be embraced by East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Everybody loves Face. There's no region that looks, oh man, I don't deal with Scar. Everybody loves him. So
Yeah.
he was that guy who broke that stigma, broke that stereotype of rappers from down here don't have skills. Rappers from down here can't be lyrical. Rappers from down here can't tell dope stories. He broke all that. And that opened up a door along with the rest of the Ghetto Boys. They opened up a door that allowed all of us to kind of walk on through because they took some arrows for us to be able to do what we did, what we're doing now, because you go back to like I say, the Ghetto Boy, you hear Willie D talk about stories about getting booed at the Apollo back in the days and
Yeah.
coming back a year later with a platinum album, and being accepted. They took a lot of the bullets, man, that we didn't have to take. So, but artistically and what he did for the region is Face all day.
And I actually that you brought him up, man. I had went and I had kind of watched some of that interview, probably about, and I got to go back and finish it. But the and that's another thing we got to touch on is the Underground Dialogue podcast, the interview you did with uh, Scarface, and it definitely y'all was talking on there, man. I just wanted to say that. So,
Yeah.
matter of fact, let me go ahead. I'm gonna drop the link to that Underground Dialogue podcast.
Well, yeah, why he do that? Well, let's keep the show rolling. I got another question, which I get a lot of different responses when I ask this question. On this journey that we call life, what would you have done different if you could change the past? Was there anything that you would have did different on your road to where you at now?
That's a good question because I'm not one of those people. You ask people that question and they say, "Oh man, I wouldn't have changed nothing, man. I
Right.
would have did the same thing. That's what made me that." Not me.
Hell no.
There's a lot of mistakes I made, just thinking off the top of my head, business wise, just like when y'all asked me what advice I would give, there's a lot of things that we didn't know from the business side that I would have done different. I would have learned earlier. I would have learned about publishing and all that earlier. I'm grateful that I learned about the independent game in terms of starting our own label. Now we was pretty much forced into that because we wasn't accepted by the big labels on the other coast. But outside of just the business, there are a few things creatively I might have done differently or would have changed. I wouldn't have been so raw and raunchy in some of my songs early on like I was. If I could do it all again, I would have been a little cleaner, kind of like I am now. But outside of that, man, that's off the top of my head. That's all I can think. But if I really sit back, there's a lot of stuff I would have did differently, bro.
Do you consider yourself a conscious rapper?
Well, that's a part of the totality of the type of artist that I am. Consciousness is an aspect. It's a department in the whole store. I'm a store, but you gotta what you want some go to the consciousness department. Okay, you want some story? Okay, the storytelling department is over there on aisle 5. So I feel like I'm one of the few rappers that I can go anywhere. You will find everything you're looking for with me outside of, like I say, the raunchy, over the top stuff. I don't do that no more. But consciousness is just one of the rooms in the mansion, But what people don't really give credit to with a lot of other artists. See, one thing we do, we kind of view the definition of consciousness as just somebody who's just, he's dropping knowledge. He's sciencing on the songs. He's talking about this. He's dropping conspiracy theories. And in reality, consciousness can just be just giving some regular old game. Just dropping, just telling these youngsters what they need to know in their language. It may be some profanity mixed in with what you're saying, but if it's good game, if it's good knowledge, that's consciousness. You're awakening something inside the listener. So that phrase, that word covers a broader range than what people give it credit for.
YJ, you said the same shit, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I was so happy when I got this. When I was like, I can sit there with K-Rino, man, because I already know, man. That's that answer that you gave is we've talked about it on this channel at length. Yeah. So we definitely we understand that, giving it, serving it up on a dish that may not sound like Tribe Called Quest or may not sound like De La Soul. Serve it up on that dish that sound a little more, that got some knock in it and or whatnot. So I definitely understand that. One thing, just to switch real quick, one thing I noticed is that you always have, let me not say always, but a lot of the times on your album covers, you'll have a pad in your hand. and I noticed that struck me. And that, I do my thing myself. So I'm trying to, when it comes to your process, I'm gonna take it that you're a writer. You don't punch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely, writing has been my foundation from day one. Long before you could stand at the mic with your phone in your hand and spit your ball. I'm always gonna be standing and holding up a sheet of paper, spit
Hmm.
mine. You know what I'm saying? That's just a
Yeah.
process. I feel like writing is a therapeutic process that you actually are transferring it from the head through the hand to the pen to the paper, and then
Right.
you look back at it. It's looking back at you. So yeah, I've always been a writer, man, and that's not gonna ever change. But as far as the notebook, that's just like say the first album was called Stories from the Black Book. When I was in school, I carried my black notebook around with me all the time, and it started out as being uh, for schoolwork. That's what it
Right.
was for. It was just notebooks, that my mama bought, and they just happened to be some cool looking little black binders. But as my love for rap started to grow, it was less schoolwork in the folder and more rap music in the folder. So people just started to know me from walking around the school just carrying that one folder. That's all I had. Didn't have no books, nothing. Anytime you saw me, I was carrying that black folder. So that kind of became, my unintentional trademark,
Right.
my signature, if you will. And so every album cover I did, um, probably 95% of the album covers you've ever seen me on, I'm standing there holding a black folder in my hand. It's a
Yeah.
few that I didn't do it, but by 95% you're gonna see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, forgive me if I get it mixed up because I put the title. I don't know if it was Blessing and a Burden or it was Burden and Road. But you were speaking in one of those songs, and forgive me if I can't remember which one it was, but I want to ask you this question, and I think you'll figure out which song I'm talking about. Since you brought it up in this song, were we created or did we evolve?
I absolutely believe that we were created. I believe in a God. I believe in a deity, a higher power, a creator. So yeah, I absolutely believe. I did make a song where I
The,
structured debate type
the,
format.
yes. The debate. I hate.
The debate?
Yeah,
Was it the
yeah,
debate?
right. The debate, and that was the purpose of it because at that time, I think that was on my Blood Doctrine album in '08,
Oh, eight. Yeah.
'08, '09, somewhere up in there. And at that time, that was a hot topic that was always passing by my ears as people was really debating on YouTube and about whether evolution versus creationism. So I was like, okay, let's make a song where I cover both sides,
Hey.
and that's what I wanted to do, and it ended up coming full circle because when the flat Earth thing popped off, I ended up doing the same thing with the flat Earth thing. But
Oh, see, I ain't heard that one. I
yeah,
heard
I want to call Flat versus Globe, where I did a debate between a flat earther and a person who believes that the earth is spherical. But
right.
yeah, the debate song was just based off of that concept. But me personally, I absolutely believe in a God.
Good.
Because the one thing I will point out from that song, that debate song off that Blood Doctrine, is the last words you said in that second verse. I think it
Yeah,
said at the end you said, "Who created science?"
yeah,
And then
Oh, I got that written down, bro.
right,
Yes.
right.
and
No
then your
doubt.
verse cut off. I was like, okay, okay. But you gave them equal. You gave them ample opportunity
Yeah.
to display what their talking point was, and you actually did good on both sides. But at the end, I was like,
Yeah. Well, even with the flat earth song, a lot of people gave me props. A lot of the flat earthers, they showed me love
right,
because they was like, well, yeah, man, you did do your best to balance it. I didn't just make it a landslide or be biased
bye,
toward
yeah,
just what I personally believe in. But the whole thing, when you talk about creation versus evolution, a lot of people who believe in evolution uh, exclusively evolution, no God, they will give a lot of the credit to science. They'll say, well, yeah, this is science. Science dictates this. Science dictates that. Blah blah blah. Physics dictates this, and all, they'll lay all that out. But everything has to have an origin. Everything has to have someone who creates the formula through which these things operate. So if there's a system of mathematics, if there's a system of science, then someone had to construct that system that we live under. I'm just not a person who can subscribe to the thought that everything that we see, not just our physical anatomies and just the brain and the organs and the perfect harmony with which we operate. I'm not a person who can just get it up and say that was just an accident, that it just lucked up and fell all in place. That would be like me just taking a jigsaw puzzle and throwing all the pieces in the air and they just land perfectly and the puzzle is put together. That's the equivalent to me. So people gonna believe what they want to believe, but I just believe that we have a designer who laid this thing out from not just us, but the whole universe and all of the bodies that exist in that universe.
Right.
True that.
Right. And that
Go ahead, bro.
well, I was gonna go kind of into another concept, unless you wanted to. You had something else, boss? All right.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
There was another concept. He talked about the burden robe, in which I will employ anybody listening to who has not heard that song to go listen to that. Another concept, and it's kind of like we sitting here playing a game called Explain That Concept, just because I want people to get a grasp of what this man is doing as compared to what we see a lot of other people doing. And this is the one thing that I feel like that you do, that I strive to do, that boss do, that people who I really like make me think. I be listening for stuff like, but there was another concept, antagonist radio.
Yeah.
I guess give a like I guess a little synopsis on what that was, man, because that to me that was amazing to me, So
What that was derived from is all the years that I watched people like Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly,
yeah,
those types of journalists and newscasters who would always bring guests on their show. And if the guests' views are not lined up with their views or their agenda, then they would antagonize the guests. They would overtalk the guests. They wouldn't
right,
let them get their point out. And it was always set up to try to get a rise out of the guests. And now they're arguing if the person who's being interviewed is not composed and they let the emotions get the best of them, then Hannity or Bill O'Reilly or Geraldo Rivera or whoever it may be,
right,
they got them where they want them, because now you're not focused on the information that you were there to give out in the first place. He's got under your skin, and now you out of character, hollering and screaming. So I thought about that, and I thought about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and how when he would go on radio shows and TV shows back in the days, they would always try to jam him up the same way, but they could never get him. They could never,
Donahue,
or they could get Donahue. Yeah,
yeah,
they could never get him or any of his ministers under him that would come on, like Dr. Khalid Muhammad and Dr. Abdul Halim. They couldn't get him.
yeah,
So I made a song where I wanted to kind of portray that guy that they're trying to get and snare and ask these questions, trying to trigger my emotions, and that was where antagonistic radio came from.
yeah. Definitely dope, definitely dope concept. And I'm I born in '88, so I stuff like that Donahue classic footage with Farrakhan, with Khalid Muhammad, all of that. I definitely had to go back and tune in to such things like that, because it's just classic footage, man, when it comes down to it.
And it also, to me, is something that I think that that Black people should look at, because regardless if you are considered an activist, whatever role you may play, a politician, whatever. I mean, we just saw some footage. I was just watching some footage where they had Cameron. They were showing some old clips of Cameron on Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And he reversed the game on Bill O'Reilly. You know, Bill O'Reilly tried to put him in them. You know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, an actor, a rapper, whatever the case may be. If you ascend to a certain level and you're called to be on one of those platforms, you have to come in knowing that they're going to try to twist you up. They're going to try to snare. They're going to try to deflect from what your point actually is. And if you let them get to you, then you're going to lose your audience, because people are watching you with the hopes of like, I want to see what my boy going to say. But if you fall apart and let them get to you, you're going to lose who you're trying to get. You got to keep your composure.
I was thinking, you know, because I really want the people to hear that Burden Road. You mind if we play that, my brother?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
I ain't heard it in a while myself.
we just want y'all to hear how deep this brother get, man. So we gonna play Burden Road so y'all can understand why we talking to him about it. So y'all check this out.
And salute. I'm gonna just say before you go, salute to the people in the building. Crucial K, Miss Lorraine Muhammad, Charlize in the building. What's good? I seen Dot fall through. What's good? Jimmy Robertson, good to see you. We're gonna keep it moving. Hit that like one time for the bro. K-Rino, we done dropped this link in there to the real K-Rino channel, and dropped the link for the Underground Dialogue podcast. Definitely subscribe to both of those. But yeah, we're going to bump this Burden Robe real quick, put this jacket on and see what this feel like one time, you know.
Let's do it, man. Let's check it out, man.
Yeah.
There was a man who woke up one day with his heart absent of love. So he went to search for the answer of why that really was. All attempts to learn on his own would eventually fail him. Asked his mother and his father, but neither one would ever tell him. He was not young, he was not old. He had been here for a while, and trouble had built up inside of him since he was a child. He met a guy who then told him, even though he didn't know him, and informed him of an old man with the understanding to show him his inner demons were starting to eat right through him and defeat him. So he quickly made preparations to locate him and meet him. He was already questioning whether or not he would believe him. So he just thought to himself, I guess I'll find out when I see him. So much trouble on my shoulders now. Every day a new weight. I should have been a better man, but now I think it's too late. I have to pull my mind back from the darkness to a true place of light before this burden overtakes me. So much trouble on my shoulders now. Every day a new weight. I should have been a better man, but now I think it's too late. I have to pull my mind back from the darkness to a true place of light before this burden overtakes me. He showed up at the man's home hoping he wasn't a faker. He walked up to the door and checked the address on the paper. He was kind of apprehensive because they told him to come alone. And as he lifted his hands to knock, the door just opened up on its own. And the old man appeared and said, how may I assist you? He said, I heard that you could lift my burdens. He said, it's true. He called him closer, grabbed him by the shoulder, gripped it tight. And in his mind, he now could vision every aspect of his life. Then he stepped into the light. The garment he wore was exposed. It was a robe that looked as though it was 5 centuries centuries old. He said, if you put this on, then your children will fall below you. He said, I don't have any children. He said, yes you do, I'll show you. So much trouble on my shoulders now. Every day a new weight. I should have been a better man, but now I think it's too late. I have to pull my mind back from the darkness to a true place of light before this burden overtakes me. So much trouble on my shoulders now. Every day a new weight. I should have been a better man, but now I think it's too late. I have to pull my mind back from the darkness to a true place of light before this burden overtakes me. The old man said this robe I'm wearing is no regular robe. It exposes past emotions and reasons never been told. When you were 5 years old, you were parsimonious indeed. And that selfish mind married lust and gave birth to greed. Then greed grew up to gain much, but was a lonely one. Till he met hate, who gave birth to pain, their only son. And pain consummated with envy from nighttime till the morn. And 2 more children, disloyalty and then murder were born. And you fathered them all and let each of these spirits drown you. And love, trust, and compassion were not allowed to be around you. So now you stand before me crying and imploring for help, asking me to lift the sadness you inflicted on yourself. Then the old man took the robe off and his heart began to soften. The stress erased from his face and his gray began to darken. Then he placed it on the man's back and the man began to lose it. It was uncomfortable, heavy, and impossible to remove it. The old man said, I wore this 50 years, it wasn't easy, but you coming to see me took it off my back and freed me. So to wipe out the regret and hurt you feel, there's only one way. You'll have to wear this robe till someone like you finds you one day. And there's a lesson in this for all of us. The things we do stay with us for years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Bro,
Back at it.
hey, my cousin here with me, man. I was like, man, check this song out. He stood up like, that's listen. And he's a part of the younger generation. To see him do that,
Yeah.
it lets you know there are people who are from the younger generation who do listen to music that means something. You know what I'm saying? Because we know they say hip hop has evolved, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the state it's in, but there are some dope artists out there who are delivering messages like you just delivered on that song. And I want to salute you for that, bro. That song was dope.
Man, salute back. You know, I mean, certain messages are universal and they're gonna transcend age, generations, and all that. It's gonna transcend all that. So if the message is delivered in a self-explanatory manner or in a way that people can grasp it, you speaking the language of the people, then it don't matter if they 8 years old or 90 years old, they'll take to the message. That's one of the things I've been blessed with, to have a support system and a fan base that covers the whole spectrum of age. You know, I got young artists, young fans who like me as an artist, all the way in the middle, all the way up. So, you know, it's just a testimony to God blessing me with an ability to reach, you know, different generations just through the message.
True that. Just to switch gears real quick, my questions are almost done. I know Jizzle got a bunch more. I'm gonna get off rap for a second, just on this question.
Yeah,
I think he's from y'all state as well, and I just gotta ask, what's your thoughts on Charleston White, my brother?
I haven't agreed or liked a lot of the things that he said. You know, he said some things that I totally didn't approve of or didn't like. There are a lot of things he said that I do look at and say, yeah, he was right on that one. But presentation go a long way with me. And a lot of times if I see you with somebody that's kind of like, you know, you could say something good 1 minute, but then the next minute you're kind of in the mud, then that distorts or takes away from any positive message that you might have dropped. So, you know, people do what they do. They say what they say. They go the way that they feel is a benefit to them. But I think that all of us have to not just focus on what's going to make us money, but also focus on the things we say and how they're going to affect people. I don't never want to offend nobody on purpose.
Right.
But I understand a lot of people when it comes to making money, when it comes to getting views and clicks and monetizing,
Yeah.
some people are like,
ain't no limit.
all in, I'll do what I gotta do. So, but at the end, the creator sorts us all out and puts us in the places that he wants to put us in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, you answered that perfectly because a lot of people say, hey, he say real things at some point, and then he come back and he's like, well, why did you say that? So I get what you're saying. So salute you on that answer, bro.
Yeah. Phantom Face final in the building. What's good? Miss Leonetta Young. What's good? Uh, I guess to kind of switch back to the music, when it comes to like the technological advances in music, which I know you've seen, you've talked about, we kind of touched on it earlier. Uh, to where now you just got to have a laptop, a compressor mic, and a preamp, and you done. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that and those tech advances in music, do you feel that was a gift, or do you feel in some ways that was a curse, or do you feel like it's both, or how you feel about that?
It ain't what you got, it's how you use it. And I come from way back in the analog days. I come from the days where we was recording our music on a reel-to-reel machine. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the reel-to-reel machine, with the 2-inch tape. And we would carry these big old reels to the studio every day and sit them on the machine. And if you wanted to play it, hey man, play that verse back. You gotta rewind it like a big giant cassette. So I've seen all of the progressions of music technology, and as far as the equipment is concerned, a lot of producers, the same way we talked about myself as an artist having to adjust from the physical to the digital world, a lot of producers had to adjust from producing on keyboards and things of that nature to now computer programs and things like that. And the ones who were focused on adapting and staying around, they made the adjustment. So I think that any piece of technology that gets implemented and brought into the game is all about how you use it. Quick little story. Back in the days, me and Gangsta Nip, we was riding around, hanging out one time, and this guy tells us he got this big studio, man. And man, I got this big studio. I got like $100,000 equipment and all this stuff. And we went to his house, and guess what? He wasn't lying. He had this dude layout was amazing, man.
Right.
This in the late 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So we like mesmerized, like, man, this dude got some equipment. We recorded a song over there, man. It sounded like we recorded it in a bathroom at a porta potty, because
Right.
he had the equipment, but he didn't know how to manipulate it, how to use it. Now the flip side, I've went and done songs with people, and I went to their apartment, little 1-bedroom, little shack. They got a little mic in the closet, barely hanging on to the thing, man. Little computer sitting up on the little, and by the time they finished mixing that song, it sounded like Dr. Dre did it.
Facts.
Because they know how to get the sound.
It's the ear.
Yes, the ear. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. So I don't really get caught up in the technology and all. It's good and fine, but there are some people who never advanced and still have the same stuff that they was using 25 years ago. And guess what? The listener is not asking what program did you use on it. When it come on the radio, ain't nobody asking that. When it come on in the club, nobody's wondering what type of equipment he used. Is the song jamming? Do it sound good? Can we dance to it? Is it bumping? That's all people care about. That's all they care about.
And that's facts. That is 100% facts. It's the ear, the science behind those waves that bounce.
bro,
So
man. I have recorded in places where I'm on the mic looking back like, are we safe in here? But it sounds good. It's
right,
all about the sound, man. And some people know how to get the most out of the least, and some people have the most and it sound like the least.
You looking at one on right now, YJ.
hey, appreciate you,
YJ got
boss.
a he got a dinosaur, and this dude right here can make magic out of anything.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Real.
That's all that
Yeah,
matters, bro.
it's just the ear. So that gives me like that's it's some a little bit of validation. I don't need validation from nobody,
Yeah,
but hearing you say that is definitely it's what I've been thinking for a long time because I've definitely known people who have studios who are elaborate and like you said, if
yeah,
the ear ain't there, if you don't know what to do exactly with it, if you don't know these little details about compression and reverb and you know waves and dips in the EQ and if you don't know certain things, so I
bro.
definitely
Let me tell you something, man. I can go to the grocery store right now and buy up a whole bunch of ingredients. I can see a meal. I can watch a chef show on TV and see them prepare this meal. They can lay out all the ingredients and I can write it down, go to the store, buy it, follow the directions to a T. And if I don't know what I'm doing, it's still not gonna taste like how the master chef made it.
Facts. Big
So
facts.
it's a science to everything. It's a
oh
science to
yeah,
production. It's a science to cooking. It's a science to writing. Everything is a science to it. And if you are not a scientist, or you have not put yourself in a school of learning and scholarship to learn the intricate details of how to make a beat, then you just a beat maker. You're not a producer. So yeah, man, you the ear. People,
yeah,
I know of people who went to school to learn audio engineering and things of that nature, and it still don't matter if you don't have the ear.
right.
Now,
Music,
if you have the ear and you go to school just to get the technical part of it, you just bolstering up what you
Yes.
naturally have, but nothing beats the natural gift. Nothing beats trial and error. I know
that's
people that never
that,
went to school. They learned on their own, made all the mistakes. That's what it's
that's
about.
the main thing in it to me is trial and error and practice. Them 1,000 jump shots that you heard about Jordan shooting up, it's the same thing. Oh shit, hold on.
Yeah.
I done-
Jordan ain't like that. He didn't
Passion,
like
man.
that.
Passion, man.
it's the
Jordan ain't like
same
that.
thing with this music. What you said? What, Bob?
Jordan ain't like that. Hey, hold on, nigga. Hold on.
But yeah, most definitely, man. If you just now tuning in, definitely hit that like for the boy K-Rino and the BMG group over here, man. So when it comes, so I told you I'm from Dallas, So when I got to Dallas, I was hearing the Big Tucks, the big Mr. Pookie, Mr. Lucci,
Yeah,
the whole
legend.
SUC from Houston and Swish House, Big Mo. Your name was in there, Scarface, and but the thing I'll say, the first song I actually heard from you was Grand Deception.
Mm.
That was the first song I heard from you. And which I would implore anybody to go listen to this song just to listen to you. It's one of them songs you just gotta listen to once. You have to listen to it in your life. It's like Roots. You gotta watch Roots one time. So, but when you look at all of these different eras, we had the snap music in Georgia. We had and Boss, he's from Brunswick, Georgia. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So that's kind of how we formed. We met on just a little bit background about us. We met on YouTube. Like we make music together and all that shit. We basically met each other on YouTube, made a little group, whatnot, and doing from there. So we heard to get back we got Snap era, these different eras. We had Crunk era, we had the Cali hyphy area, Cali hyphy era. Uh, Texas definitely put their stamp on the game at a certain time when it comes to you know, it was fun music. The Texas ride and swing, drink music and all that, snap, crunk, hyphy, riding on swing, all of that. It was all fun music. But one thing that I noticed is they seem to all come and go.
Yeah.
So do you think that had anything to do with it? How can I put it? Like not being based in actual substance, or do you think that just naturally happens in hip hop with, you know, just sign of the times, things change or whatnot?
Yeah, it's just a natural progression in music in general. You know, I'm a little older, so I remember disco, and
Right.
the disco era kicked in the 70s, and before you could blink your eyes, nobody was messing with disco no more. They didn't want anything to do with it. They were actually like showing hatred towards disco. Like, I'm like, you the same person in the club on roller skates, you know, now you acting like you. So certain types of rap are only for a time, and that's okay. You know, so if you make that song that just, you may make a song about a dance. You just made this song up and it's about this dance. And many rap songs have been about dances. Quite naturally, when the dance plays out, the song plays out. There's no need. We don't want to hear that no more because we on to something else. So there are songs that are just for a season. You know, now artists who have made those types of songs, what they have to do, they have to make sure that they are already thinking ahead to get the jump on what's going to be hot in the upcoming season. So you won't just be that one hit wonder that gets left behind. And we've had a lot of groups that have been able to do. You know, you got people like the Yin Yang Twins, you know, and groups that have always, Lil Jon, you know, that he would always come out with something that would keep him around, you know. So it's about the artist's ability to say, all right, yeah, this is for now. I can't think I'm gonna be still being able to do this 5 years from now, the same song, the same, because we're moving, we're in constant motion. The people are thinking about different things. Different things are coming into the consciousness of the people. And if you not on it, then you still standing there doing the Pee Wee Herman in 2025, and everybody
Right.
looks at you, man, that's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that question up, Jizzle, because it brings me back to timeless music.
Yeah.
You know, we all know there's music from Pop that we say is timeless.
Yeah.
Scarface got music that's timeless.
Right.
When we try to make that music today, and I don't want to put conscience on that type of music, but it tends to be music that's teaching, like you said earlier, something that can teach you to better yourself as a person.
Right.
Why don't that music get the love today that it did back, you know, in our era? Because I'm from your era.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the reach and the exposure is not the same. See, when they didn't know no better, and when I say they, I'm talking about the elites who run this industry, who run this world, but we'll condense it down just to the industry. When they didn't know any better, you would hear conscious rap on the radio. You would hear the real rap on the radio. You would see video shows showing those videos. You would see Fight the Power playing on the video show. They didn't know any better. When they peeped it out and was like, wait a minute, nah, they talking about us in these raps, then they started to take it in a different direction. So now conscious rap and just real rap in general got pushed into the underground. They got put. See, that used to be a term called underground rap, and that just meant the cussing and the, you know, the suggestive language and the suggestive content and all that. That was underground because we couldn't play that on the radio just from a content standpoint. But they started to push conscious music down to the underground. So now that type of rap is down there with all the other stuff too. But what ended up happening was due to an agenda that the industry has in cahoots with the prison industrial complex, the government, is just a whole mess. What happened was it was like a seesaw where the or where the underground was down here and this didn't get no play, and the consciousness was up here getting some play. They're like, nah, let's do this. So now you see a lot of the raunchy, dirty, low vibrational music. It's on the radio now.
Right. That's more commercial than the
It's the new commercial.
right.
So this is not by accident. This is all by design. So because they saw the influence that the music had on the young impressionable listener. So now it's like, now we can kill multiple birds with this one particular stone called rap, because these young people will make life imitate art. And now, okay, yeah, he rapping about these perks. I'm gonna try it.
Them damn perks.
Snorting these lines. Let me say, I ain't never snorted no lines. Hold on, he rapping about even where we at. They rapping about that drink, sipping some drink. Let me sip some drink. These are regular people. So now whole generations of people are being turned out on dope, turned out on the lust for violence, turned out on over sexualized content. They just peeped the game and played it a little different.
So let me just ask this, Jizzle. So
Go ahead.
When artists like from our generation, and I hate when they do this, say, man, just let them cats do what they do. That's music is just changing. Music is really not evolving. It's just the higher ups are allowing this raunchy trash shit to overtake what we really need to hear. And like you said, they're lowering that down to the underground. We don't want y'all to hear that because y'all gonna get too smart. So music is not evolving. It's the higher ups who is changing music. Is that safe to say?
Well, I would say this. It was trashy, raunchy, dirty music when we was coming up too. It's always been around. But like we just spoke of, it wasn't in the forefront like it is now. So now the stakes are much higher. And back in our time, as dirty as some of the music was, that was still balanced. Because like I said, they wasn't up on game yet. So you would hear a conscious song and then you would hear the non-conscious song. It was balanced. The stakes are higher now because you're not getting that balance. They are flooding the market. They are flooding the minds in the market with strictly low vibration. Nothing else. Anything outside of that, you have to seek that out yourself. You have to. People are either just seeking it out themselves to find the kind of music that's satisfying to them and that feeds and nourishes their mind, or they're just giving up on it altogether. Man, I can't even listen to it no more.
And that
it ain't the same.
That goes to a conversation me and Boss, another one we've kind of had at length over here, man, when it comes to the audience. And is the audience to blame? Or because we're talking about the higher ups, we're talking about labels, we're talking about all of this. So at a certain point, like how you mentioned, like the audience, when do we hold, or do we ever hold the audience? Do we ever hold them accountable? Do we ever hold the parents or
Here's the thing. The audience got bit by the same dog that the rappers got bit by. That's all it is. So it's not any difference. See, when you have marketing and advertising, so you watching a commercial on TV that's showing Pizza Hut and all these different things, and it's influencing you. The more you seeing it, it's like, okay, well, or they're showing you a product that just, man, you got to have this, you got to have this. This sooner or later it imposes itself on you, and then you, okay, well, let me try that. Let me get that. Let me do that. So when the radio is constantly playing these particular songs, even you, me, Boss, we can find ourselves humming a tune that we don't even like because of the repetition of how much they've instilled it in it. If we're listening to those platforms, before you know it, we minding your business, you singing it. Like, whoa, what am I singing? What am I doing? Because the programming, they have at radio stations, they have what's called a program director, and they are in charge of laying out the playlist, and that playlist comes from on high. It comes from another place that's higher up. And every city is playing these same songs. It's not we hearing these songs in Houston, but then you go to Kansas City and there may be some variations of certain stuff that you will hear that's more localized, but for the most part, that top stuff, that mainstream stuff, you're gonna hear that same stuff. So the fans and the audience, they getting bit by the same bug. And they are more, they're getting bit harder in a way because they don't have no dog in the fight. I just like the music. I'm just listening. At least a rapper can kind of catch a snap and be like, wait a minute, they doing something shady. This is not how it's working. Even when you find out as a conscious artist or whatever, that my music is not even getting the equal opportunity that's getting. And then they'll say, well, you give me $35,000, we'll put you in a rotation. And if you was to be foolish enough to do that, that's only one market. So, okay, well, I can pay this money to get played locally. It might branch off if the song pops off. But no, I don't blame the audience. And I used to. I used to say, man, why y'all listening to 97.9 The Box? Why y'all listening to, man, y'all don't see what they doing, but they don't care. They don't really care. So what we have to do as artists and people who are subscribed to that other side of that, we have to make ourselves as visible as possible. We may not be able to compete promotion and market wise with those big guys because they got the budgets, they got the money, they got the big platform, but we have to tie ourselves on a string to make ourselves as visible as possible to give the people an option. It's something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and y'all may have saw this scene if you ever saw the movie Malcolm X. They incorporated this in the movie Malcolm X. He said he gave Malcolm a glass of water. It was a glass of water. And he poured some clean water into the glass. And he said, if you sit a dirty glass and give it to the people, they'll drink from that glass if that's all they have to choose from. But if you set a clean glass of water next to the dirty glass, then the people now have an option, and an intelligent person is going to look at the dirty glass and go, I'm going to get this clean glass. So we have to be that clean glass that's next to that dirty glass and give people that option.
So let me ask you this, because we know we got conscious rappers who actually put out music that's that clean glass.
Yeah.
When we talking about up and coming artists, like Jizzle, this dude right here, if you never listen to his music, you might want to listen to it. He got a dope album out, TTB2, I ain't gonna go into it. But listen, if you got up and coming artists, you said we need to give these people a choice.
Yeah.
You have artists that's up and coming who put out some raunchy shit, and it blows the fuck up.
Right.
And then you got artists who's delivering a message that our people should hear. But if we going by what we speaking on, the higher ups is not going to allow that. So are they wasting their time? Music matters, and the wrong shit that has no substance whatsoever, because we know the higher ups push. We gonna put that out there. My booty hole brown. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So are we wasting our time putting out this music that has substance? That's my question.
No, you're not wasting your time, because what we gotta always keep in mind, and this is something that I always tell people, keep in mind that the reason why it's like this is by design. It's an agenda. So we have to know that and decide, okay, well, you know what? We at war. So now I'm a soldier in this war now. So I'm gonna do everything I can to fight against this agenda. Now, if you don't know it's an agenda and you are trying to immerse yourself into the industry, like, man, I want to get a record deal too. I want to sign with Sony and Universal, and you are oblivious to how this thing really works, then you might find yourself frustrated or disappointed because you're not understanding. Well, I make good quality music. I make music for the people that hit them in the heart and the mind, and they're not giving me no action. They're not trying to give you no action. But the internet is a form of being able to level the playing field to a degree. You still don't have the big machine behind you, but you still have the ability, if the music is good and if your hustle is on point, to where you can develop you a fan base. You can develop a following. People do it all the time. People who don't even do music do it. We just got through talking about Charleston White, or you could talk about Rizza Islam. You could talk about a brother Ben X, just different individuals. These individuals may not be rappers per se, but they've used the internet in order to create themselves and turn themselves into a known entity and build a platform with a following. So rappers are doing the same thing. Rappers on TikTok doing their thing. Rappers on YouTube doing their thing. On Instagram doing their thing. Now, we know we live in a world where evil is made fair seeming, so people seem to gravitate more towards the dirty side. But when we know that ain't the side to be on, we got to be in the business of trying to save as many people as we can. So we can't get discouraged. We got to get motivated to say, okay, I dropped the album in 2010. The title of it is The Annihilation of the Evil Machine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's what it's talking about. It's talking about little old me going against the whole monster that is this industry in every form, whether it be music, whether it be government, whether it be political, whatever aspect of it that are all tied on a string. We got to attack that. And there are people who will appreciate you. I've been doing this 40 years. It's people who will tell me, hey, man, thank you for what you're doing. Keep doing it the way you're doing it, because they have children. See, it's easy to know the impact of something that we know is reaching a broad audience. Like a song, you just mentioned the Booty Hole Brown song. We have seen the reach and the impact of the Booty Hole Brown song. Right?
Goodness gracious.
Every time you pivot to the left or to the right, it's there. But that does not discount or discredit the effort of somebody who is nowhere on that level, but they down in underground doing the same thing, because you making a difference too. You having an impact too, because it's some dude that's telling you, hey man, that song you made, man, I ride around with my 8-year-old, man. He know all the words to it. You know what I'm saying? That's your validation. Now, it may seem to be taking longer, but we don't have the weapons that they got. But we do have weapons. And that's how we got to look at it. And anybody who is of that mind, we got to do our best to unite. We got to try to Voltron ourselves up as hard as we can too, to create a force and a network of these types of artists. And sooner or later, we got an army.
Yeah. And salute to Flash Mob. Uno just stepped in the building. And I agree with you, Flash Mob, when you say find your crowd and cater to those who love you. Absolutely. That's exactly right. You know,
love who love you. That's my motto, man. You know?
Yeah.
And guess what? Real quick.
What's up?
And if you start to put yourself out there as much, guess what's gonna happen? Some of them Booty Hole Brown fans gonna become your fans, because
exactly
that'll be stuff that they'll listen to for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, music in rap in particular is a game of growth, and where audiences grow, they grow. So the stuff that I liked when I was 13, I used to sit in front of the TV on Saturday mornings and watch Bugs Bunny and Fred Flintstone, the cartoon. I don't do that now because I outgrew that. So there are people who was 18, 19, they were listening to certain types of rap because they didn't have a care in the world. They had no bills that they were paying, no responsibility. They had not entered into real life yet. So those songs was the end all be all. But as life started to get in the way, now you hear another song and you're like, ooh, that's where I'm at right now. So you mature out of that. When I was 9 years old and they played the Isley Brothers, yeah, the song sound good, but I can't relate. I ain't been in love. But then when you start going through it and getting your heart broke and all this different stuff, them songs hit different. So you just grow.
So can you imagine somebody who listening to Sexy Red music transitioning over to a J. Cole, somebody who's doing conscious, or a K. Dot? It's like that's not the same audience, because you just stated that they can become your fans. How? If you listen to this, how do you go from My Booty Hole Brown to Black House?
You want me to tell you how? I'm gonna tell you how. Think about this. Throughout the course of a day, you might eat dinner, right? When you have your dinner, you may have a nice piece of grilled salmon, some real light and healthy. You may have some asparagus. You may have some mashed potatoes, just something that you consider to be a good, balanced, healthy meal. But early day at 3 o'clock, you may have had a bag of chips, some Now-Laters. You know what I'm saying? So we can compartmentalize. There are people who will listen to a Sexy Red song, but they are not necessarily just locked into that mind frame. They might as well, I just like the song. I'm pretty certain that there's an attorney somewhere that likes a song. I'm pretty sure that there's a physician somewhere that listens to certain types of song that we may think is, oh man, that song is so.
K-Rino, do you like the song?
No, I don't like the song. but guess what? I only speak for myself. See, but I have been in instances and situations where there are women who successful career women, but you put them in a club setting, you put them in a setting where it's people dancing and enjoying, having a good time. They'll be dancing and rocking out, singing the words to the song, but they don't live that. Now think about how many cats back in the days was nowhere near gangster, but they know all the words in NWA.
Hey,
you're talking now.
We have the ability and intelligence to compartmentalize. Look, I love the Chronic album, but I ain't never smoked weed in my life. So we have that ability. So we got to give ourselves more credit than just to say, well, if the people who listen to that, they can't possibly, we don't know. Somebody hey man, I just listen to that song when I'm having a good time, but when I'm by myself, when I'm riding down the street, I'm J. Cole.
And that would be half the time when you ride, the other shit start to take place. Like, when you in the shower, you start singing a little better. It's one of them things, it's the feeling, I feel like. So definitely, I'm glad you asked that, boss. That
was a great, yeah. But because reality, like I say, I try my best to give us credit for being more intelligent than that, to not just be locked into that one lane to where it's exclusive. You either like this or either you like that, and it can't be any other way. Now, are there some that are like? Of course, yeah, of course. People like that. If you would play some Kendrick Lamar, they would be like, it sounds like he's speaking another language to him or something.
Right. Like, definitely.
But there are people who are right down the middle who can travel to all worlds. They can travel to all the worlds. And they fine with it.
And that's the people we gotta focus on. That's the people I know you focus on. That's the people, me and Boss, like how Uno said earlier, man. The people who, you gotta focus on them, man. You can't worry about the people who, stuck in their little box that they in. The people that's outside the box, them is the people, that's ultimately
going to do you.
Yeah.
I I back in my battle rap days, I battle rapped this guy, and he was getting mad at me because I beat him, but he was getting mad at me because I was beating him with ranking. I was rank rapping him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like roasting. You was
I was
roasting.
roasting him, and
Okay.
he was real lyrical like me, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't use that. I was like, okay, we got a crowd of people. I'm gonna embarrass this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he got mad, like, man, why you rank rapping? Why you roasting? I'm like, hey man, it's whatever. We battling. But
Right.
years later, he came to me. He said, man, I didn't understand then. He said, it's like a fight. You know what I'm saying? And he quoted this old like Chinese proverb. Like as far as like martial arts, he say in combat, you bring whatever you have and you hope that it's good enough. But I can't tell you how to fight me, you know what I'm saying? Unless we're in a sanctioned boxing match where it's
Right.
like we have rules and a referee and all that. But if we on the street, hey man, I don't want you to pick up a stick, but I can't necessarily make you not pick up a stick. I want to knuckle up, but you grab a tree branch and you swing it at my head. Hey man, you bring what you got and hope it's good enough.
Right. So when it comes to, because that's one thing I did see, looking through your catalog, and there was one site that I did find that kind of had a actual catalog and all of everything listed, and it did mention that you did some battle rap back in the day. Do you know about the URL TV movement or any of that? Just curious myself.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I'm a fan of it. I don't watch it a lot, but I'm a
Right.
fan of it, a fan of a lot of those guys, man. It kind of came after me. I was doing it early on in the game, in the streets and all that. And but that's how I cut my teeth, bro. That's how I started.
That was y'all on beats or was y'all acapella
No,
with it?
it was acapella, it was just in the street. Now
Okay.
every now and then, because this is how far back I go. Every now and then we may have somebody that's beatboxing for us. That's how far back we go, boss. But
Right.
but for the most part, it'll be an acapella situation because we never knew where it was gonna jump off at. We could be walking through the mall and see some MCs over there. And it's
Right.
so it was straight acapella, just like you see in the in the battle leagues now. But
Right.
like I said, that was 90s, that was late 80s, 90s.
Right.
That's how we did. That's how we see myself, Klondike Cat, Gangsta Nip, a lot of cats that you see on that banner behind me, Willie D, Romeo Poet, guys like that. We had names in the streets long before we even made records. Before we even went in the studios, our names were circulating in the streets, in the neighborhoods because of battle rapping. People was hearing about you. Oh, that's him, that's him. Wonder what happened if them two go at it. And
Right. And see that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people realize is that stuff like that was going on nationwide.
yeah,
I've heard people on the West talk about battles used to happen. Snoop used to battle, but that was just the culture at the time.
yeah.
And that's why I think because URL actually has had a few events down there in Houston. They ain't came to Dallas yet, and I'm mad at them, but they done had a few events over there. But salute to everybody in the building, man. Hit that like, of course. So just to switch, I guess, to go back to a little bit about the process and whatnot. Do you ever come up with a song title before you start writing a song, or before you have the hook, the verse, anything? Do you ever come up with a title and then move off that title with the song?
Yeah, but most of the time it's rooted in the concept. I may come up with the idea, the concept of the song,
Right.
then you build around that. Then every now and then a title may accompany that concept around the same time, or in rare cases, a title might hit me. Just something might pop into my head, or I may see something that makes me create a title, and I know I'll build around it because
Right.
the concept is in the title. But
Right.
yeah, so yeah.
Okay. Okay. I asked that because I noticed a lot of your titles. It'd be like little not one liners, but just a descriptive title. Like, it's a difference between you hear a title, "Here I Go,"
Yeah,
and then you hear other titles, and you're like, I wonder if he made that
yeah.
and came up with that phrase before. So I don't know. That's like a person. That's
Sometimes the title comes after the song is written.
oh
Because
yeah,
the song would tell you what the title is.
right, right,
Just like if you get a beat first. Because people
right.
always say, what do you do first? Do you write the song or get the beat? It could go either way. But if sometimes a beat will tell you what to write about
Oh
based
yeah,
on the mood and the personality of the beat.
right.
So yeah, it just depends, But I've written whole songs and didn't know what the title was gonna be. You
That
know,
happens. That definitely happens.
and then you read over it, you read over it, you read over it, and then you may say something like, man, this is like some twisted insanity, Okay, that's the title, so whatever it is, So
So what it's 2024, of course, and I've seen a change in the music when it comes to length of verses, and it seems that 12 bars is more acceptable nowadays, and we're seeing the length of songs be shorter nowadays. 316s. I've listened to some of your catalog, not all, of course, because it's a lot. So, but what I will say is one thing that I have noticed is that you 16 with it. 316. We heard UGK 3 of 316s.
yeah,
That was a thing in hip hop. That was a thing that was like, you know, we held that to some certain standard, and we're seeing that change now when it comes to these 12 bar verses. I guess, how do you feel about in general hip hop, that average kind of getting cut down to 12?
yeah, it's a bunch of dimensions to it, I was saying early on, I was like, man, these rappers getting lazy. That's what I
Right.
was saying early on. Somebody told me that it's strategic because these little short, little 1 minute, 58-second song, 2 minute songs. Uh,
Right.
Somebody explained something to me about the views. The repetition of the views is more prevalent because of the songs are shorter and all that. I said, okay, so if there's a business strategy and all that, okay, I get it. But just from a creative side and far as the fans go, I'm just one of them people, man. It's like me inviting you to my house for dinner. I don't want you to leave my house for dinner and you still hungry. I'm gonna overfeed you. So my mindset is, okay, you getting 316s, or you gonna get that one song that's just super long all the way through.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some stories that's super long all the way through. So when you get up from the table, you're gonna be like, oh hell, man, I'm good, man. I don't want to. And I'm gonna give you 15, 16, 17, 18 songs on the project total. But now we kind of in this assembly line type
Microwave.
of world. Yeah, this microwave world to where it's like, okay, not only am I cutting the song lengths to 2 minutes and 12 seconds, I'm only putting 9, 10 songs on the album, if that, and I'm in some mainstream cases, I'm overloading it with features and all this. So you're not even really getting a lot of me.
Yeah.
You're getting me. You're getting a 12 from me here. I might do the hook, and then you got some other cats in every song. So it's just the rap world that we live in now. But those who are rooted in those old school principles, I can't write like that. I feel like I ain't through. That's like halfway making your bed to me. It's like, nah, because, and I've been blessed. I seen my homie Phantom Face Final in the building. I've been blessed to have people who have rocked with me and supported me forever, and now they expect a certain standard from me. So I'm trapped. I
Right.
can feed you, bro. I got to
Right.
feed you. I can't. First of all, I don't want to, but I couldn't if I wanted to go to that mode where I'm just making these little short little songs. And now you may do you may spit a freestyle, or you may do something and put it online. a minute.
Right.
But songs, nah. I got to
Yeah.
feed you, bro. I got
I think
to be stuffing food down your mouth till you throw up.
I feel you on that 100%. And I experienced that years ago doing music with my homie Crucial, who's in the chat. And I'm used to doing 3/16s as well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why we only doing 2 verses, man? And he was like, that's just the way it is now.
Where it is, man. You know.
And
But it don't have to be the way it is for you.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said, and one of the questions we asked, you said you have to adapt with the way music is going today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't, you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the reasons you named one of them was streams. You know, if they play your music for like a minute, that's a stream.
Count. Yeah, it counts.
So they're not artists, Rod Wave.
Yeah.
They're not gonna give you 3-minute song if they
Come
don't
on,
have it.
boss.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But also on the radio, if you got 3 verses, your third verse is never gonna get heard. They're gonna blend that shit into either a commercial or into another song.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a waste of your energy and time and effort to give them 3 verses, and they're not even, the people not gonna hear it. Now they'll hear it on the album, but not on the radio. But go ahead, bro.
But if you have a fan base, then that changes that dynamic, because if your fan base already is familiar with how you construct your project,
Right.
then they have an expectation. They already know how you get down. They're like, oh, boss finna give me them 3/16s. You know. So what happens is when you stop, those who have always depended on them 3, it's like, boss, he ain't feeding us. You know what I'm saying? So you think about them. Now, I will say, to your point, now, if you are going for that mainstream, if you're trying to crack into that world, then okay, maybe your single will be like that, because it has to be to fit into that framework of how they doing it now, even on radio. So you might say, well, okay, well, my single is 2 minutes and 14 seconds long, you know, but you know, when they get the album, it gets more. But one thing I know, even the artists who are doing it, because it's the popular artist that's doing it, they set that standard. That wasn't set by some no name that started doing it. The popular artists looked at it and started. The popular artists set that standard. But in my eyes, if you have a big following like that, man, they would love to hear you rap longer. They would love. So it's more of a business move to me than an artistic thing that they just. It's not artistic at all. It's more so, this is what we're doing, because if it was artistic, I'm gonna give you as much as I can.
Yeah, and you know, you can even go to R&B with the 8-minute songs that we heard. You know, from James Brown used to rock out for what 10, 12.
And the band gonna play the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
So, you know, it's one of them things, man. You know, it's some artists doing 8 bars and the hook come on for 8 bars. So it's like, you know, it's one of them things. But like you said, I do think it comes down to what the commercial doing, and it kind of trickles down, I think, to the underground, just by proxy type of thing.
Because the underground, and they're thinking, see, we can't always play the game the same way as the mainstream. There are certain principles that do overlap. Of course, there's certain principles, but sometimes we as independent artists who may not even have the reach or the platforms that these guys have, we'll start trying to do the stuff they do, all in the name of, we got to kind of do where it's going now. But it's like, it don't really apply to you. You know, it don't really apply to me to do it like that, because that's not my audience is already locked into how I do it. You know, so I think we'll kind of dig into that bag when that's really not our bag, you know.
And the fact you brought up the fan base, and that's one of the things that I noticed when I go to your videos on YouTube. And I don't like this term, but in your case, I will use it, because I do feel like especially here in Texas, there is a cult following, and I don't, not to say you're a cult leader.
We know what it means.
Yeah. Okay, so I will say when it comes down to your fan base, these people will fight tooth and nail about you, bro. And I think that is a testament to the work you've put in consistently. I feel like that's a testament to the body of work in totality when it comes to the consistent messages, the consistent concepts, storytelling, and all of that. In which it has bred, you have bred that sort of cult following.
Yeah.
That you look in these comment sections and you see paragraphs.
Yeah.
So I definitely salute you on that, man.
Well, all of us are seeking to find to fill that void in some rap fan's life, in their mind. When you become that artist that the rap fan has been looking for all their life, all their rap fan life, and they find you and you are that guy, like, man, this the dude I've been looking for all my life, then you got a responsibility now. You got to be that to that person. And when you continue to fill those voids, when you never let them down, when you always come through, when they can get that album before they see, back in the days when we would get the physical copies, it was certain artists. If I'm in a record store, I never will forget when I first bought KRS-One's second album. It was called By All Means Necessary, and I didn't even know he had put nothing out. And I'm just going through the records. I was like, it was vinyl. I was like, straight to the counter. I ain't heard one song.
Right.
When you become that guy to somebody where they love you so much, it's like, man, I'm getting this album. I ain't heard nothing. I'm buying it. Then you got to live up to that. You got to constantly live up to that, because the loyalty that they are giving you, you now are obligated to reciprocate that in the form of your art. And they will ride for you. No, this is my guy, man. Can't nobody beat this guy. They're going to ride for you, so you got to ride for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, you speaking, man. You speaking, and I think for the independent artists who have a small following, sometimes they get discouraged because they see the other mainstream artists with these big cult followers, like Jizzle said. They put out a single, and within 30 minutes, they got 1 million views. And it take us days to get to 1,000. So, it can be discouraging for that dope independent artist who's trying to strive to be great. But I think when we speak of the fans, if they are your true fan, they should be pushing your music out there for people. Hey, listen, this brother is speaking.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that we lack, and it bothers me. And we say a like, a share, it don't cost a damn dollar.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right. It's like, see, and that goes back to what I was talking about. We got to understand we not in the same room.
Yes.
See, a lot of those artists, those mainstream artists, they are there because they were strategically placed there. They were allowed to be there. They were put there. So if we look at them and we upset, see, I used to scratch my head when I was young, like, man, how he get on? How you? Because you get in your ego. Man, I kill that dude. Man, he ain't nowhere close to me. And it's like, but it's to the point. It's like, you might, lyrically, you might be, but he came in a door that you might not be willing to go through.
Yeah.
You don't know these days, man, and all this stuff that's coming out that you see in a lot of these guys that might have just, you thought he was super gangster. You thought he was super solid. And then you start, oh man, this dude's kind of, he was kind of suspect. You know what I'm saying? So you look back at it like, okay, it may make sense to me now that that's a door that he went through, a door that I would never walk through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you kind of, you accept it, but you keep on going because, and even in the process of, hey man, my views is low. Okay, yeah, but those views are organic, and we have to figure out ways and come up with formulas to increase our numbers and our we just got to figure that out, because we are the ones who have been destined for whatever reason to have to come up on the rough side of the mountain.
Absolutely.
So if you done climbed up this far, you are up high enough now to where when you look down, if you let go now, you're gonna die. You gotta keep on climbing up that bad boy.
And that's facts. That's facts. And one thing I will say, because I haven't heard it, is the passion.
Yeah.
If that passion is there for what you are doing as well, I believe that kind of ties into that, because if you are very passionate about doing something, then that number that you see after 2 days of views, that number, you're not going to look at that number the same. So that's one thing I always, when it comes to the passion, just the pure passion for the music and the process of making music. If you have that, that's another thing that will continuously motivate you, even if you're not seeing immediate results.
So you remember when y'all we was talking early on, and I said your art and your skill and your gift is natural. That's going to take care of itself. So if you still have love for what you do, then you are going to produce the best out of the love that you have for what you do. Now, after that's done, just like I said, I would tell artists to learn the business. The other part to that is to learn how to hustle, learn how to market and promote, because a lot of great music falls by the wayside because
that's boss right there. I'm gonna tell you right now, that boy boss.
The artists don't know how to push themselves. See, I'm from H-Town. I remember when Mike Jones hit the scene.
Mike Jones.
And people would say, "Oh man, Mike Jones, he can't even rap. He can't even." They missed the point.
Right.
It's about how good or how bad you think Mike Jones is as a rapper. He's a marketing and promotional genius.
Facts.
Because the things that he did during that time were like unheard of. It was like new and innovative. Dude put his real phone number,
telephone number out there for real. That was huge.
He knew. He said his name constantly, and the way he said it was just stuck with you, Mike Jones. So
I was here. Trust me. I know.
To say, a lot of artists make the mistake. They go in the studio, they put together this masterpiece of a project, and then they sit up and they put it out and they just sit up and do this, like, okay, now where's my platinum?
It doesn't work like that.
It don't work like that.
Don't work like that.
You know what, boss? Boss? That's one thing that I have learned from boss when it comes to him. I'm the person that you just explained with putting it out and doing this. That be me all day, because I've been the engineer, so I got the engineer mindset, and that's what it is. Man, we finished. I'm done.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you an analogy that I always use, and it might not be the cleanest analogy, but I'm gonna use it anyway. What happens is this: picture times and picture yourself in a moment of passion with your wife or your significant other. Sometimes when you reach that moment, you just roll over and you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But before you reach that moment, you was putting in work. You was putting in work because you was trying to get to that moment. See, in music, we do the same thing. It's the equivalent of when we are writing a song. We're getting the beats. We're putting the beats together. We're going to the studio. We mix it. We master. See, you putting in that work. That climax comes when you finish the project and you listen to it. And you're like, no, you're not done, buddy.
Can't go to sleep.
Round two.
Go to sleep.
Baby girl want round two. Baby girl want round two now. Round two. These streets hustle, promote, market, push, get on the ground. That's round two. So that's what we got to be more focused on. We got to put the work.
Look at boss. Boss got a Kool-Aid smile.
because
this man,
we sit up and we wonder, man, why the album didn't? Man, this is my best work ever. Yeah, it might be, but you're not doing the other kind of work.
You ain't doing nothing else.
You ain't doing the other kind of work.
You rolled over
People
with
are not
the
gonna magically know who you are. Yeah, you rolled over and crashed out.
Yeah.
But the people are not gonna magically know who you are because you know who you are, and a couple of your partners know who you are.
Right.
You have to make yourself known. I still believe in, see, that's why I say certain principles never die. I'm still rooted in actual physical promotional items. I'm gonna still get some flyers. I'm gonna still print out some posters. I'm gonna have some business cards. I'm gonna still be out there like, hey man, check me out, check me out, check me out. Mixed in with what I do on the internet.
Right.
You know, so you got about now we have two avenues. So we can't just use one, but you can't bust and roll over, bro. You gotta round two.
Yeah, that you know, it's the hours in the day and how you use them. What'd you say, boss? We got the same. We got the same 24. Everybody got the same. Every rapper out here got the same 24, and it just come down to what you're gonna do with it. Of course, you know everybody got to work. You know you got to provide a shelter over your head, so you don't want to just crash out on this music shit. But
yeah, no,
you know,
priority. But we can't be delusional either. We can't just feel like I'm gonna magically pop off. You know, that's not how it works, bro.
Right. That's what I was talking to you earlier about. Like a lot of people just think, you know, I'm gonna be a rapper. No, you gotta live first.
Yeah.
I'm saying this music, if you up and coming out, you mean you ain't got a check yet.
Right.
So when it comes to it, man, it's about passion. Like you spoke up earlier, Jizzle. If you have the passion, that's great. But the work ethic, you need that as well. Yeah. And I think that's what made me and Jizzle a great team because he busts his ass with mixing our music and making sure we sound good. And what I do is marketing and promotion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he has come over to my lane.
Yeah.
He helped me out a lot.
A little bit.
Look, man. Look. Somebody might be the scorer that average 30, but somebody got to do the dirty work and get the rebounds and play defense, bro.
Somebody got to be Dennis Rodman.
Somebody got to take that shot. Yeah, Dennis Rodman gonna get that rebound and throw it right back to Jordan. His job is done. So,
yes, sir.
Knowing your role in the team and making sure that all of the pieces fit. So, like you said, what your role is, boss, and what your role is, y'all have a different role, but it locks in. And it fits because we're not stepping on each other. I'm not trying to compete with you because you a rapper. Right. And hold on, man, why you got more verses than me?
Right. hey,
comfortable in our role.
You know what? What I do want to ask you when it comes to you know, all of these different rap groups. This is a question, and you know, y'all can everybody watching. Salute to everybody. Y'all can see the SPC. Banner in the back, and this has been the same logo that I've been seeing for years behind products that you are a part of, and we've seen rap groups come and go, and even with R&B, when it comes to just black men in general coming together to put out a product and being consistent with it.
Yeah.
I guess what is the reason why we often see these breakups? We see, you know, it'll be a rap group get to the highest pinnacle, and then boom, shattered. Yeah. Another group comes along, highest pinnacle, boom, shattered. And I like to look at generalities when it comes to just black men. I'm black, so you know, no offense to anybody who's white who's thinking, why is he saying black? No, I'm thinking about my people right now and what it takes for us in our mindsets when it comes to building something.
That's right.
Why do you feel like, I guess, that it doesn't a lot of times we see the breakup after the blow up?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's a divide and conquer situation because if there's a group and 3 guys are rapping, then one guy may start to stand out among the other ones, and it starts to be reflective in the fan base. You know, y'all doing a show, and these 2 guys, they do their part, but when that other guy comes in, everybody is more hyped, they more louder. It's like, oh, you know, so envy creeps in. Sometimes the labels will will intervene in that, and they'll pull a guy to the side and say, well, man, you really the star. You the one, man.
Right, right,
You don't really need these guys. Then you got people around you saying that. You don't need them guys, man. You should do that. You can make all the money. Then his people are going, hey man, he think he all that, man. He think he better than y'all. He thinking it. So there's so many different dynamics. And then even if that may not be the case, sometimes the money divides. Sometimes when the money does come, then the money divides. We start getting funny with each other behind the revenue. So there's so many different ways that happens. But I think that's why in the beginning, if you established a core group that understands the roles, accepts the roles, it still don't guarantee because people change. People
right,
outside and they change, but you at least want to have that foundation coming in to give you a better chance of some sustainability. But also, it don't always have to be something that's wrong. Sometimes people just outgrow each other. Sometimes a person just wants to pursue different lanes in their own career. Like
true,
Destiny Child and Beyonce and somebody like so many groups like the Jacksons, like that main person, they may be more full artistically than the other ones. And it's like, man, I gotta branch off. I feel confined in this space to where I only get 12 bars per song now, but I got a whole bunch of ideas where, but it depends on who you're dealing with. Because if me and you in the group, YJ, and you tell me that, I'm gonna say, hey man, well, you gotta pursue I'm not gonna feel no kind of way and get
right,
emotional because you want to pursue and go to other levels and express your artistic levels more so. Cool, hey man, do your thing. We're gonna come back at some point.
right. But ultimately, it's the communication. I feel like it's always anytime dealing with any group. Uh, I feel like that's the number one thing because, like you said, if that's how someone feels and like they're being held back artistically, then just come to us real on a real level, and not disrespectful, but just
Exactly.
come to us to say that, and the communication and you dealing with real men. If
And
you dealing with real men,
not be egotistical about it either,
right,
because sometimes, yeah, out of the three of us, yeah, boss might be the most talented. You know what I'm saying? But the boss come through like, yeah, man, I'm above that now. He's like that. He looking at us like, man, and we can't argue because he's better than us. Like, yeah, well, I guess he got,
yeah,
But that's the whole thing. It's like, it's so many ways that happens. But I always felt like I was blessed. Cause I was in a couple of groups before I did my solo thing, but we never had the problem of as far as people being envious or mad that I wanted to do my own. I left one group and went to another group, and I was still cool with my last group. You know,
right,
then I left that group and went solo, and everybody kind of branched off. I think we still all brothers, but it don't always, work out like that.
right, right.
Sometimes you got to tell people beforehand, like, you keep it real. Hey man, I'm doing this group thing for now, but once we get going, I'm peeling off. I'm letting y'all know.
Hey, long as you tell me,
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, right.
Just tell me, so I know what to expect.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
so definitely. We about to hit 2 hours in this thing, man. Boss, you got any last words?
I definitely want to tell you thank you
Thank you,
for
brother.
taking the time, man. I didn't know what to expect because I'm new to your music. Like I said, I like what I've heard. Haven't heard everything because you got 2 damn many albums. But I definitely want to give you your flowers for being a part of hip hop culture and putting in work and allowing it to be a light for you and maybe others, man. So salute to you, brother. I appreciate you for coming on to the Bank Channel, man. Thank you.
Thank y'all, man, for having me, man. Just continued success to both of y'all brothers, man. And anytime y'all want your big brother to come on, don't hesitate to reach out, man. I wish y'all the most of the most. So
Right.
much love.
Before we go, I'm a hip hop head, boss a hip hop head. You spoke about the battling. What I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask. What are your feelings on the Drake and Kendrick
Oh
Lamar?
yeah, I had that written down too.
What I guess what from your perspective, I guess what's how you break that down, I guess, man.
In the beginning, I didn't know too much about it. We interviewed Killer Calion on my podcast, and he was kind of just enlightening me along with my co-host Keystone.
Yeah. I seen y'all interview Killer
Yeah.
Boss Hog Out Loud.
Yeah, I didn't know, but what I did agree with is that, you know, like we talked about earlier, battling been a part of rap since day one. So if the battle is strictly rap and it stays rap, let's get it on. Let's do it. Now, if it starts to cross over, like we've seen a lot of these other situations, man, just be on some street. It'd be some street stuff that get took to record. That's
Right.
different, you know. And I made a video recently about the difference between a rap battle and rap beef, and it's two different things. If we just battling for supremacy, even if we shoot some little personal stuff in there, because that comes with it from time to time, but we both understand. See, back in the days when I battled, it was understood, man, by me. If a dude stand in front of me, if he talking about my mama, if he talking about kicking my uncle in the face, and hey man, I'm gonna take that because I understand the arena that I'm in. I'm not gonna get emotional, take it personal, you know. But if I get mad now, I want to fight because you said, now we done took it somewhere. Long as they rapping, have at it.
Right. So do you feel like that? Do you feel like it got took somewhere else with
Yeah,
those two?
they did some personal stuff. They shot some and some feelings that they had about it, you know. But again, you know, in the rap game, on that stage, bro, you got to look at the stage these two guys are on. This is the highest stage. In their mind, losing is not an option. I can't lose because these are things that could be career ending. If somebody gets massacred, right? Like if the battle was unbalanced, like the general consensus that I got with hearing people saying, you know, for me, y'all can speak for yourself. A lot of people was giving Kendrick the edge. Okay, they were saying Kendrick won or whatever.
Right,
but they wasn't saying it was like a landslide. Drake was holding his own. You see what I'm saying? From what I got. So, but just say, for example, if one of them would have got just avalanched, right? That could have been it. So when you know how high the stakes are, then that would take you to places where you might, man, I can't play with this dude. I got to talk about how I smashed this baby mama yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Now, in our eyes, as we mature, we might say, oh man, that's dangerous, man. That's a place that you don't want to see us go, you know, because you're scared that it might escalate into something else, because it ain't gonna be Kendrick and Drake fighting. It'll be somebody in their entourages.
Right.
Some cats that don't even know them, that's just overzealous fans that end up doing something crazy.
Like the shooting that happened with at Drake house, and you know.
Right. Kendrick ain't fired that shot. So those are the things that we got to be careful of in 2024 rap battling. Now, 1988, we just go, yes, y'all. And that's it. And as far as it's gonna go, Kumo D and LL was never gonna fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even
Cannabis
KRS. You know, and I was thinking about that the other day because they were talking about some how personal things get, and certain things should be off limits. And like I said, I agree with that to a degree, but I contend it's always been like that. If you go listen to The Bridge Is Over by KRS-One,
right,
and listen to the stuff he was saying on that, it's like, this is an 87. The stuff he was, it's like, whoa, it's on the same plane as far as personal, deep cutting stuff that's being said now. But it's just all about how it's received, and all about the nature that you take it, the atmosphere that you understand that you're in. And like, okay, now we battling, so no holds barred. But as long as it stay rap, I'm good with it.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Definitely, I echo what Boss said. Definitely salute coming up, man. You know, you one of them. You one of them. You know, when in Texas, when if I talk to hip hop heads, you definitely one of the names that definitely gets mentioned when it comes to hip hop heads discussion and talking about hip hop. So when I reached out, I didn't know what you was gonna say, but when you hit me back, I was like, "Hey, that's some real shit,
Nah,
man."
I'm
I'm
the big
definitely,
brother, man. I ain't Hollywood like that, man. You know,
yeah,
if I got time, if I got time, you gonna get me, bro. You know.
yeah, and I definitely appreciate that. Definitely. Before I go out of here, I will drop both of these links for the Digital Underground podcast, or not digital, Underground Dialogue podcast. I'm gonna
So
drop that link in here one more time, and
Yeah.
then also drop the link to your channel as well.
let me
Because
shout out. Let me shout out my sports podcast too. We got a sports
oh yeah,
Legends 34. Me and my homie DJ Red.
okay,
We got a sports podcast that we do. So y'all make sure
okay, see,
y'all sports fans, y'all want to argue with us about whatever. That's
okay,
to do that on.
That
yeah,
was one of my questions I had too. Who was you rocking with in the playoffs?
Man, it's tough. I feel like Boston gonna break through and win it all this year, but I love Ant-Man, bro. I love
Ant-Man just lost tonight, bro.
but guess what? Yeah, they in trouble. But guess what? This is the problem that I have, and YJ gonna probably get mad at me when I say this.
Oh no, don't talk about. All right, go ahead.
Being
Go.
from Houston, I don't want to see San Antonio or Dallas win in nothing.
Whoa!
Man, hey.
Wait a goddamn minute.
But let me say this. Though. I love Kyrie.
Yeah,
I love him for his game, but I love him because of the stances that he took and how they tried to destroy him, and he's still out here standing strong. So I'm conflicted.
yeah. That's how I feel about Wemby in San Antonio. I can't rock with San Antonio, but it's something about that.
I'm the same way. Look, I feel like we supposed to have Wemby. we was in that run and we ended up getting
who is we?
The Houston Rockets. Yeah. So I feel like we supposed to have Wemby, bro.
So boss, he is San Antonio fan.
We Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, man. Oh, we in trouble, man. We in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, but let me tell y'all something. On the real, man, when they build around Wemby, bro,
man,
it's gonna be a problem, man.
Yes,
He's
sir.
gonna be a problem. See, what did he have? He averaged 20 something, and he had
25,
right?
Like
And about 3 blocks. Yeah,
blocks,
he just learning, man. That dude gonna be a problem, bro.
Yes,
He's
sir.
gonna be a problem for years and years to come, man. Years to come. But I love Kyrie. So if somehow Dallas wins it, I'm gonna be really like happy for Kyrie because they like, okay, well, he didn't win without Bron and all this. But it's just something in my DNA that I can't root for Dallas like that, man. Especially the Cowboys.
That's where the conversation stops. Y'all see what it is with that. But we got
yeah, man. Hey, we're gonna wrap things up, man.
All right.
Yeah.
This is a great show, man. We salute K-Rino, man. Hey, I'm subscribed, so you dropping any more music, I definitely will be tuned in.
Thank you.
Man, salute to you, man. Appreciate you for tuning in with us.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Blessings to y'all. All right.
Hey, we're gonna end the show, man. Cause I had to add another song that I wanted to hear as we ride on out into the sunset.
Now ride out.
But yeah, we thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody who left their comments. I see you had some of your people in here. I appreciate all the people for coming in. Lioness, Crucial K, what's the other guy? Phantom Face Final. Appreciate you for
Phantom Face,
your folk.
Yeah. Flash Mob,
Uno. Thank you for the super chat, bro.
Yeah.
Miss Young, but anybody else out there, Charlize, thank y'all. Hey, we ain't finished. But we're gonna end the night with a song that I like off his. I can't remember what project, but I like it. This is Blessings and a Burden.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're gonna rock out like that.
Peace.
Y'all have a good night. We out of here, man. Thank y'all.
It's a beautiful responsibility to chase your own standard. Who is that? Your creative needle has to keep moving, cause the burden of being great is always having to prove it. Say it again. Your creative needle has to keep moving, cause the burden of being great is always having to prove it. Generously, the Creator gave this gift to me. Since then, I've been persistent with its upliftment because I'm thankful for its delivery. From the start of things, prospering was a far dream. The process was exhausting as I birthed my skill and nurtured it like an offspring, no resting. I felt greatness was destined, cause my creative expression started to undergo an accelerated progression. A fresh pen became my best friend, and once I embraced that connection, my affection for writing was never in question. No secret, the accolades came frequent, and with each sentence the people would seek to see if I could equal it or exceed it. Ran straight through every wall that I was faced with, saw greatness in the distance, challenging me to a race. That's when I chased it. I caught and wrestled it into submission, started living with the thought of effortless mental precision. And though I'm grateful for creative thought flames I've been given to live up to my standards, I became painfully driven. A blessing in the burden, the lesson here is urgent. This gift that I possess made me feel stressed and undeserving. My standard was established while the rest were just emerging. It's an endless quest to still inject the message in the wording. A blessing in the burden, the lesson here is urgent. This gift